I went to a haunted cornfield attraction last Halloween with my friend Kevin. I've always loved those spooky events, but this one turned out to be something I never expected. Honestly, I don't know why I'm even sharing this because it still freaks me out. It started off normal. We arrived just before dark, got our tickets, and stood in line with the rest of the crowd. There were a lot of people around, some in costumes, some just looking to get a little scare and have fun. I didn't expect anything weird at all. The whole thing was supposed to be about scaring people with actors dressed like killers, jumping out at you in the corn maze. You know, typical stuff. When we finally got to the front, this guy at the entrance, dressed as a scarecrow, handed us a flashlight. He wasn't talking much, just pointing people into the maze. I thought it was part of his act because he kept staring at people for way too long. His mask was dirty, and his clothes smelled weird like he'd been rolling around in a barn. But whatever. I figured he was just into the character. Kevin made a joke about how the guy was creepier than the maze itself, and we both laughed. We stepped into the maze, and at first, it was fun. People jumped out at us, and we screamed and laughed. Everything was going fine, until it wasn't. After a few minutes, we noticed that the scarecrow guy was following us into the maze. At first it was subtle. We'd turn a corner, and I'd catch a glimpse of him standing at the end of the row of corn, just watching us. I told Kevin, and he brushed it off, saying it was probably just part of the show. But I don't know. Something felt off. As we got deeper into the maze, the actors seemed to disappear. It got quieter, and the screams we heard earlier were farther away. It was like we were getting separated from everyone else. That's when we saw the scarecrow guy again, only this time, he wasn't just watching, he was holding something. It looked like a small blade, but I couldn't tell exactly what it was in the dark. Kevin was starting to get nervous too, so we tried to pick up the pace. But no matter which way we turned, he was always there, a little closer each time. We started to panic. At this point, it wasn't fun anymore. I tried to shout for help, but it felt like no one was around to hear us. Then, out of nowhere, the scarecrow lunged at us. I felt something sharp graze my arm. I screamed and shoved him off me, and Kevin grabbed me, pulling me away as we ran through the maze. My arm was bleeding, and I realized this wasn't just some actor playing a role anymore. This guy was actually trying to hurt us. We sprinted through the maze, pushing through corn stalks and stumbling over our feet. Every time we thought we'd lost him, he'd appear again, like he knew exactly where we were going. At one point, Kevin tripped, and I had to help him up. That gave the scarecrow enough time to get close again, and he swiped at us with his blade, cutting Kevin's leg. I thought we were done for, but somehow we found the exit. We burst out of the cornfield, bloody and gasping for breath. People saw us and started screaming. The workers rushed over, and we told them what happened. Turns out that scarecrow guy wasn't even supposed to be working there. He was some random guy who'd snuck into the maze pretending to be part of the attraction. The cops were called, and they found him wandering around inside the maze, still holding that blade. They arrested him right there. Kevin and I went to the hospital. I needed stitches on my arm, and Kevin's leg was messed up pretty bad. The whole thing felt surreal, like it couldn't have actually happened. But it did. I haven't been to any haunted attractions since then. I thought they were supposed to be scary but fun. I didn't know they could turn into something real, something deadly. Honestly, I'm still shaken up about it. Be careful out there, especially when you think you're just going for a thrill. You never know when someone might take it too far.